Rob Temmett for ID Boxing, and it is my pleasure to be joined by boxing's #1 podcaster, George Groves of the George Groves Boxing Club podcast. George, always a pleasure. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Rob. How are you? We're here at the Joshua Franklin press conference. I'm here with Rob Temmett, who's kindly come along with his camera to ask me something today, and I can't wait to hear it.
Boxing arseholes in the building.
Yes. Don't steal that. I haven't copyrighted it yet, but that's big things to come from boxing arseholes. And there's loads of them. That's the thing. You always start a podcast, you know you're going to run out of guests, but boxing arseholes, in boxing, you'll never run out.
Never run out, no, absolutely not. But we are here, as you correctly pointed out, at the Joshua Franklin weigh-in. Career heaviest weight for Anthony Joshua. I mean, far from me to talk about another man's weight and his physique, but heaviest that we've seen him. That bear any output or outcome this weekend?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but George Groves Boxing Club have launched some merch this week, which Rob is kindly donating, and he's got that there. And they have flown off the shelves, and there's only XXLs left. So obviously Anthony Joshua's eyeing up that XXL hoodie. He thinks, I don't want it to be baggy on me, I'm going to have to have it fit, so he's come in heavy, which makes a lot of sense. By
the way, this is an XL just for things, but I mean, maybe I'm working on a XXL as well. But anyway, I'm going to get back behind the camera, because it's not about me, it's about you, George. Anthony Joshua on the back of 2 high-profile defeats, hate to mention it, something that you had to do in your career, 2 high-profile losses to Carl Froch. What does that do to a fighter when you kind of compete at that top level against a top fighter and then ultimately come up short? How is that rebuilding?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. So I had back-to-back defeats against Froch, but I hadn't achieved nowhere near what Anthony Joshua had at his stage of his career, Joe. Like, where he's lost, he's already made the money. He's already been involved in the mega fights. He's already a mega name. He's already won the belt more than once. So totally different for me. I still had that hunger and desire to come and go again. So him coming off back-to-back defeats back here, he's put himself in the hurt locker. I'd imagine take himself to the States. From what I've been told, it's a spit and sawdust gym, and they've worked him hard. And he's probably not quite the star out there that he is over here, So that might have been tough for him. It might be something he's had to adjust to. And it might tomorrow night might just be an experiment for him to see how much he really wants it. If he goes out there and does a good job and blasts him out of there, and then gets a bit hyped, a bit up for it, and he calls out a Tyson Fury, it might then let the dust settle in a week or so and see what comes next. But he's boxing through and through. Boxing's been his life for a whole time. It's boxing who he is, who he must identify as. And if he's not boxing, that must be really difficult for him. And he certainly wouldn't want to finish his boxing career, going out to Alexander Usyk in 2 losses. So I can see why he wants to come again. He looks in great shape. I don't know how much wear and tear he's got on the body, but looks in good nick. And another a solid win tonight, a comparable win where you can assess Franklin compared to his performance against Dillian Whyte. He goes out there and does a much better job than Dillian Whyte did. Then sure, I mean, he's always going to be back in the mix because of his name, but for him to be the fighter he once was, he'll need a bit more than that. And it'll be fascinating to see what Joshua brings tomorrow night.
You mentioned there about Jermaine Franklin. The last time we saw him over here was against Dillian Whyte. Close fight. A lot of people felt it could have gone either way. What are you expecting from him? And I guess, do you give him any real chance of springing the upset against Anthony Joshua?
He's a lot lighter, yeah. So, and the team have come with their T-shirts on today saying we're not just here to make up the numbers, or we ain't just come for the flight, or something like that. Saying, I mean, it wasn't catchy enough for me to remember, but it was catchy enough for me to read it. So I'm sure he's here. I don't really know an awful lot about him, but he looks quite cool, calm, pleased to be here. Lighter and up for it, I'm sure. Dillian Whyte's a big name, but he's not a world champion. He's never won a belt, so Franklin knows if he beats Joshua, that's a whole different game. And also back-to-back defeats probably don't quite give him the same, opportunities as the last performance has delivered here. So I'm sure he'll be informed. There's 3 fights of Joshua's where he's been beat to study and watch to give yourself comfort in trying to find a way to beat him. And he'll be up for it. He'll really be up for it. It'll be a bit, I haven't been online. They keep telling me to go online and check, see if you can buy an Anthony Joshua ticket. They're still on sale. I don't know. Today I've got here and the Joshua team and the Matchroom team and the Zone team are insisting that they're all sold out. I believe it. It's a busy crowd here at Westfields. Eddie Hearn said earlier, it's like throwing a party. You always wonder whether people are going to show up. That's why I always throw my parties at Westfields. That way, if no one shows up, a couple of shoppers can wander past and I can make out they're my mates. So, unagi. Yeah, so I think, they're all up for it. It's going to be good.
If Anthony Joshua is successful, and I think it's fair to say, he is a heavy favourite against Jermaine Franklin, we're not getting Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk now. Where would you like to see AJ go next? Is it the Dillian Whyte rematch? I mean, we're all kind of been years hoping against hope for Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. Who does George Groves want to see in box?
For the entertainment, I'd like to see Wilder. I think Wilder's a great fight. I'd love to hear, oh shit, man, I'm stuttering. You don't edit this stuff clean. My mate, Malik Scott. Sorry, Malik. I'd love to hear Malik Scott's breakdown of how Deontay Wilder's going to beat Joshua. I'd love to see a bit of trash talk / appreciation for each other from Joshua and Wilder. And I think come fight night, who knows who's going to pick who. But you can almost guarantee that neither of them are going to play out for a 12-round points win. So that's the fight I'd like to see. If not, then I'd like to see Joshua Fury in the UK with a couple of months' notice so that both of them can be at their very best. We can all really get excited about that fight. And that's for the WBC world title. And then maybe the winner fights Usyk. Winner fights Usyk.
Not going to keep you too much longer. Appreciate your time. But one fight that we are waiting for an announcement is Chris Billam-Smith, your old gym mate, against his old gym mate, Lawrence Okolie. It looks as though that fight could take place at the end of May. What do you make of that one, George?
Haven't spoke to Chris or Shane, so I don't know. But a friend said to me, must be via the socials, that Lawrence Okolie's in the running now. I was like, yeah, I mean, I think it's been tough. I think Billam-Smith thought it was going to be Opatayo. I can never say his name, Opatayo. Correct me later. And then even worse, I can never even remember the name of the WBA champ.
Gullamarian.
Both of them are like, it's been hard to get over the line. And obviously Lawrence he's up for it. I think it'd be a great fight. It's a fantastic opportunity for Chris Billam-Smith, two Brits. It'd be weird, like they've been in the gym together for however long. And Lawrence Okolie was a little bit further on in his career, hence why they were able to train together. Both trained by Shane McGuigan, and Okolie was in the next tier up from Billam-Smith. Now Billam-Smith, former European champion, but vacated, ain't been beat. But he's in line to fight for a world title because of his commercial value as much as his boxing ability, and. They've announced Bournemouth Stadium, and it might end up being Lawrence Okolie who ends up wandering down there and that's who he's challenging. I'll be happy for Chris to get his world title fight. Be even better as for both fighters if Chris could pick up another world title, and it's a unification. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting enough, in that you've got Riakporhe there as well. Okolie, I worked the Okolie fight the other week. I thought he boxed well. Under Sugar Hill, didn't get the knockout win, which goes a long way for Okolie because he ices the guys, and then that 10-second clip, it goes far and wide. But I thought it was a good enough performance from him against a really, really tough, rugged New Zealand guy, David Light. Remembered his name, and. I mean, brilliant for Chris Billam-Smith. Fucking announce a world title fight, you useless bastard. We're sitting around waiting here. I mean, who the fuck does he think he is, actually? That's what I should have started with. Who just comes on Sky to say, I'm going to announce something next week. All right, Billy, big bollocks. Like, what are you going to announce? And it's, I'm boxing in Bournemouth. Well, fucking, what a shocker, eh? Bournemouth Stadium. Well, it better be fucking big, Chris. We're waiting. So, I don't know when he's going to fucking announce something. But when he does, yeah, I'll be happy. You'll know before me, because you like being the first to know, don't you, Rob? So there you go. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Big night. But I've already reserved my room in Bournemouth because Bournemouth's a lovely night out. And I don't know how many hotels there are there. There's quite a few nice ones, but I got in early because it's all going to sell out because, you know, I don't know, Bournemouth invasion.
Final one from me before I let you go. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Thoughts? Do you want to see it?
I don't know. Like I don't want to deny either or of them. Got no dog in this fight, Rob. To be honest, boxing's there's so many layers to this one particular thing. I ain't got nowhere near enough information, and I like both guys. You know, I've always been a fan of Conor Benn. I've always appreciated him. I've always backed him before everyone else was backing him, and I hope he knows that. And also, I appreciate Chris Eubank, and he's suffered a terrible loss in his last battle where I don't think he was quite right or quite the same. So I'm not part of his advisory team. So I don't know what his mind frame is. If I knew a bit more, then maybe I could give whether it'd be good for him or not. But if it comes off, nothing shocks me. But yeah, I've got no dog in the fight, Rob, so each their own, no real opinion.
Okay, well, George, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to ID Boxing. Before I let you go, where can I listen to that podcast of yours?
Everywhere. Absolutely. Everywhere you get your podcast. So when you open it up in your podcast app, hit the follow button. Tell Deck that every week. Become an Elite Club member. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button. You can do this bit for me. Go on, you do it. You do it better than me.
I'm literally a walking advertisement for you today. I've got to do your taglines as well.
I would like that. Yeah, too. Plus, like, you know, I mean, you have done better than usual. Otherwise, it looks like, sometimes when you're just a bit too cash, you're like, oh, he's looking after shelter. He couldn't sell the jumpers, so he's giving them out to, the local. I'm joking. George Groves Boxing Club podcast.
George Groves, thanks very much. Catch up with you soon.
Yes, lovely. Cheers, Rob. Nice one, mate. Cool.